Very happy Monday. It's Penwell the Black Pen. I just want to hit you with a quick post of something that I read yesterday on Twitter from a guy called Wandile Sihlobo, who's an agri-economist or an agricultural economist. There's a lot of talk in South Africa about the land issue and how we need to get our land back and white people must give us the land that they stole, which I think is very true and very fair. We're at a very desperate point right now, and the EFF is coming in, and the ANC is trying to get more aggressive and trying to get more land more aggressively, because the initial model they used was willing buyer, willing seller. What this meant was the ANC or the ANC-led government was willing to take some money from government funds and then use this to buy it from white people and then redistribute it to black people. A lot of the white farmers, a lot of the Afrikaans farmers, they don't want to sell the land. And that's what willing buyer, willing seller is meant to be. It's meant to be a willing seller. The ANC-led government is meant to be a willing buyer. So in a situation where the seller is not willing to sell, you kind of start looking for more aggressive policies, more aggressive ways to grab the land, so to speak. One of the things people don't fully understand and that I want to clarify today is that South Africa has about 123 million hectares of land as a country in total. Of that, about 80 million hectares is actually decent land that is farmable. So this is very important to understand. There's a lot of land, mountains, etc., where you can't plant anything, you can't really build anything. So it makes no sense transferring this land because it's not productive land. Of the 80 million hectares, the government target was 30% by a certain period. A lot of people don't know this, but we're actually very, very close to that target. We're at about 22, 23%. And this is from the research that Wandile has done. Shout out to him on Twitter. What's important to note is that government still has a huge chunk of land in its possession that it still needs to redistribute. I think they have something like 4,000 farms. In total, I think about 11 million hectares have been transferred. And then a further 2.5 to about 4 million has actually been bought by black people on the private market. What that means is it wasn't a government initiative per se, but it was black people that actually proactively, wherever they got the money, went to go and buy the land from white people. So land has been moving, and close to 22 to 23% has actually moved from white hands into black hands. One of the issues we discussed last night with some friends was the concept of black people getting land and then immediately selling it to white people again, which is kind of like, what the fuck? You're defeating the whole purpose of what we're trying to do. I was on almost the devil's advocate side, of which I fully believe. Once black people have land, I don't think there's anything wrong with them selling it, whether it's to a white person or a foreigner or a Gupta, whatever the hell. It's your land, if you get what I'm saying. The biggest issue we have in South Africa, and the reason why we're so angry, is because white people came in, they oppressed us, they took our land not at fair market value. If they came in, we had a good deal, they paid us, and they took the land, and they now own 90% of the land, which is the case today, then what's wrong with that, if you get what I'm saying? So some of the people are saying black people should be forced, once they get to land, to be forced to farm, or at least keep 50% of the land, or be forced to do some kind of agricultural training. And I personally don't agree with this. I don't think everyone wants to be a farmer or should be farming. I don't think everyone wants to do property development, for example, on the land that they get. So I think it's cool that people get their land, but I think people should be allowed to sell their land, especially to people that are very passionate about farming, about building something of value. The other model, obviously, that can be looked into is getting white farmers to rent the land from black people in such a way that the black people still generate something from the land that they own and the white people give back, so to speak. I just wanted to let you guys know that close to 22 to 23% of the land has been transferred into black hands. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, especially the training of black farmers, the rehabilitation of some of the land. Commercial farmers in South Africa are about 142 billion rand in debt. So it's a very difficult industry. It's very hard to farm. If you've ever farmed, even had a little cabbage garden, farming is hard work. It's very labor intensive. It's very capital intensive. That means it needs a lot of money. And if you're not passionate, it doesn't help. Our schooling system needs to start funneling more farmers, more young kids, especially black kids, into farming and into agriculture. And that's how we're going to change our country. And that's how we're going to ensure we have food security. We want the land back. That's us. We're not playing about that. But be sure and do know that the state is doing its work, and we must just keep helping. And for the white people that are out there, help us. At the end of the day, if you help us, we'll help you. We'll all live in a great country and we'll all have food to eat. Have a happy Monday. I love you. It's the Black Pen. Ciao.